I was in the shower for a solid 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm, like when you're in the shower, you're like waking up in the morning. And to my surprise, there's a centipede in the corner of the tub about yay big. And honestly, Jared was asleep still. So I was like, if I scream, he's going to wake up. I'm just going to be like, I was like, and kind of like, and then I collected myself.
I didn't hear it. Yeah. I didn't hear you. And
I was even talking to it. I was like, please stay still. Don't move. I'm just going to wash you down the drain really quick. And I started throwing water at it. And he kept crawling up and like I would splash water and he'd fall down until he finally went doop, down the drain.
It is almost centipede season.
It's a season?
Yeah.
Gross. Ooh. We're not in centipede season because I've seen like 3.
Get those little sticky traps too.
Yeah.
Those work well.
Those work? Okay.
I think so.
You're going to have to throw it out though because I can't pick it up.
That's fine.
Because I'm a baby.
Did I tell you I had a couple of those in the garage and ended up catching some snakes in them, like little snakes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I would feel a little bad if I caught a snake in a sticky trap.
In the garage. Not on a plane. In the garage.
Snakes on the best movie ever. Don't at me.
So speaking of movies, we got one to talk about today, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. What's the gun with it?
Because we both said yes, we do at the same
time. So today on Screen Time, we're talking about Risky Business, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I will say I had no idea what this movie was about.
Me neither.
At all.
I've never seen the movie. I
never saw it. I know of it, and of course the
famous scene.
The famous scene, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But other than that, no clue what the premise of this film was.
No. I was a little taken aback.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is
it goes some places.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was like, when it was finished, I was like, didn't realize it was going to be like this.
So let's here's the synopsis from IMDb.
All right.
A Chicago teenager is looking for fun at home while his parents are away. But the situation quickly gets out of hand. It's like,
yeah,
I would say it does.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's a funny like synopsis. Like, I mean, yeah, I guess you can't say any more because it would be a spoiler, right?
Right.
But I kept thinking, like, when I was watching it, like, how do they pitch this to get a studio to make this? Like,
sure,
right? Like,
sure.
Because you're like, what was the
bunch of kids?
This is like, it's just a very 80s movie because I don't think they would do that
this
in
would
any
never,
other decade. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It is a very 80s premise, I would say.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, so
what was it? Yeah, what was the year?
1983.
Okay.
1983.
Yeah.
Fact check me on that, please.
Yes, you're right. 83.
Yep.
Rated R, 1 hour and 39 minutes.
Yeah, so it is rated R. So I guess, anything goes then, but just still wasn't expecting expecting it.
No.
So what what was your overall just impressions of, like, did you like it? Did you like what was your overall, without getting into
spoiling it?
Spoiling it right now.
It was, I liked it. I thought it was entertaining. It's a very entertaining film. There's a lot of frustrating parts about this movie, and we can get into that later. And of course, in 80s fashion, some really corny spots where even the sound is a little off with the talking and like the
music?
Not the music.
Okay.
Per se. The music is awesome because it's Tangerine Dream.
I was gonna go off on you.
Yes. No, but like the sound effects when things would happen were a little corny, but that's to be expected with a movie from this year. So what did you think, Jared?
Yeah, I liked it too. Like you just said, I had no idea. I thought this movie was going to be something very different.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it was overall fun, and it was a good length too. Was it hour 39?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pretty good length. Yeah. This is another one that if it was any longer, I think it'd be too much.
It would be too much. Yeah. I agree with that.
But no, it was fun. Yeah. It's just one that the premise, even just from your synopsis, it's like
that's vague. That's a vague synopsis.
Vague, and you can't really guess where it's going. It goes very differently than what at least I thought it was going to.
When you hear that synopsis, you're like, oh,
It's gonna be
kids' parents are away. He's just gonna throw a party or something.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
No. I mean, yes.
Kind of
but
a party.
No.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I kind of on the same page. Yeah, it was entertaining. I don't know if I'd rewatch it. It's kind of like, I don't know. It like maybe at the time, and if I had seen it, around the time that it came out, maybe, because it probably wasn't. But I feel like there's like, not thinking of anything off the top of my head, but I feel like some with the general idea of that, not where it goes specifically, but the general idea of like parents away, have a party. There's better stuff out there than like that. I think that's been done. So,
what I thought of was this has some elements that's very Ferris Bueller, which would have been after this. So I think Ferris Bueller definitely took some stuff from this, like the car stuff. There's a lot of stuff in there I thought about Ferris Bueller for sure.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good thought. So the director, Paul Brickman, he wrote it and directed this, and he did a couple other movies I'd never heard of. Some of you probably have, but I'm surprised like he hasn't done much anything else. Like,
I was wondering about that. Yeah. I didn't know who the director was, and it's only a couple movies. That's it.
Would this like be his most popular movie?
Probably,
from his...
I would imagine. Like I said, the other stuff I wasn't even familiar with. I mean, it doesn't mean some people aren't, but
yeah.
It was all right, so we can get, let's kind of move into where we can talk spoilers, because I'm going to talk more specifics. But let's talk about the overall characters in this. Like, what do you think?
Oh yeah, let me look at them.
Who did you think that was good, or did you like from the performance wise, or either performance or just the character in the that they portrayed?
I think one of my favorite characters in this movie was Miles.
That's mine too.
Yeah, played by Curtis Armstrong.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to was the Revenge of the Nerds or Nerd? Like,
yeah, he's in that.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking at his IMDb. He's also in Dodgeball, I think.
He's in a lot of.
Yeah.
But not as like the main character,
No,
but a
he's
really
never main.
good
A lot
kind
of like raunchy comedies.
Yes.
And this is like, I would say, edges into that realm a little bit. But it's not really like It's not really a comedy, but it kind of teeters that.
Yeah, he is definitely the comedic relief
he is
in this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's that friend that's just like stupid and, only thinks about one thing all the time and is raunchy himself.
Yeah. And he's the one that sets everything in motion.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, with that line. Yeah,
he's
you're
the
right.
puppet master.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Uh-huh. This is all his fault.
Yeah. Does anybody else? I mean,
not really, but Tom Cruise was
rough.
Yeah, and a baby. Like, how old was he in this movie?
Fetus.
Did
that
we
was
look
one of
it
my
up?
notes. Yeah, a fetus Tom Cruise. I don't know how old he was.
Okay.
In this,
I was
movie.
wondering how old he was when he. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he wasn't that great.
He definitely. Yeah, he was definitely rough and awkward. Actually, I feel like a lot of the younger, like all the younger actors were the high schoolers. Were definitely a little rough. Like, it was just awkward.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think the main lady, Lana. Like, I think Rebecca De Morey, or however you say her name, I think she did pretty good. Like, I think there was, you could tell there was a little bit more polish to her stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the person she was trying to portray, I think she did it well enough, because obviously she's this very broken woman. But, she's a little bit jaded from her profession, you can tell, and the things that she's been through. So I think Rebecca De Mornay played that pretty well. Mm-hmm. One of the better actors in this movie, I would say.
Yeah.
Although Guido is another one.
I pointed this out to you. You didn't know who it was at first.
I didn't. His hair is awful.
Talking about Cypher?
That's why I told.
Yes,
I said that to her because that's where she would have known.
I didn't even realize it was Cypher.
I was like,
way younger.
I was like, I always think about the scene where he's like, ignorance is bliss, when he wants to like forget that he's in the Matrix and just eat steak all day.
Yeah.
Joe Pantoliano.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he plays a really good pimp in this movie. Italian pimp.
Also,
it's just like
the most stereotypical name ever.
Oh yeah, Guido.
Yeah.
Come on. The hair though.
Yes.
It was just like horrendous.
Yeah.
Couldn't get behind that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think anyone else. Like even
there's the parents.
Yeah, but they were
like,
they were nothing really.
They were
and there
just
was
the
like
parents.
the college guy, and then some teachers in the school, but they're all like minor, like
Yeah, there's actually it's not even that big of a cast in general. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah.
And I mean, from the location standpoint, like almost everything takes place at the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they spent 80% of the shooting all at that house, and then just had to pick up shots at a couple other locations. But from a budgetary standpoint, that would keep the budget down if you do most of the stuff in.
Because they're at one point they're in the city in Chicago, right? But the house and everything, so it's kind of more suburbs outside of. Yeah, I was wondering first which city, but then I saw Illinois. I'm like, okay, yeah, obviously Chicago, but then they're not even in the city that much in this movie. I guess that one main like car chase or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so one thing was interesting. I was looking at because there's nothing. I wouldn't say there's anything stand out visually in it. Like it was kind of like shot pretty generic, and then the slow motion's kind of choppy. Like there's some cheesy stuff in there, but but the weird thing was it has two directors of photography.
Oh, really?
And they're and I mean, not that I've looked thoroughly, but I've never come across that. Normally, you might have like second unit, someone that's does like the action scenes that they film with stunt doubles and don't and then but to have two that are just billed the same, like they don't, not one like as the lead, was interesting. So yeah, I don't know.
I was wondering that since all three of us are on this now, I was wondering from a cinematography side. Yeah, I always want to know now what you think of that in general with anything that we do in this.
So yeah, that in general, there was that shot in the beginning when he's dreaming about the lady in the shower and he's explaining his dream.
That's my favorite shot.
Yeah, and then they had the moving tile.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I was like, okay, this is interesting, but they definitely created just that longer room and just had the tile move so he could. Yeah, so it was like a practical effect like that. But that was the only thing that was like creative, I would say.
There's a couple I noticed, not like really long takes, but there's a couple pretty cool in the house, where it's going around like one shots that I thought were pretty cool. But not anything else that really stood out, at least to me. But yeah.
So how about the music? The music rocked, right?
Oh man, Jared would not shut up about Tangerine Dream the whole movie.
Yep.
For good reason. It's amazing. It's like the perfect type of sound for an 80s movie. Really.
So not only the score, but the soundtrack too. So both are...
Oh yeah, the soundtrack's insane.
Both are great in this. Yeah. Let me pull up my notes because I got stuff about the music. For sure. Yeah, Tangerine Dream, they did actually a lot of film scores, but they also have so many albums that they've done. And they're kind of the band that started. I wouldn't categorize them as synthwave, but they're the ones that kind of started that first type of sound that you hear so much now in like all kinds of music. But they were doing it even in mid 70s, I think, at least, and did so many albums. Actually, so one of my favorite albums of theirs is Exit, and there's a song off that album that's in this movie. It's like a remix version of it. So I recognized that one immediately, and I like that a lot that they put that in here. But then they have some original stuff they wrote for this movie as well. But, well, here, you guys can keep going. I'm going to pull up the soundtrack so I can name off all these songs that are in it too, because it's crazy.
These heaters?
Yeah.
Got
a lot of heaters, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the well, I'll mention that though. I thought also so the first time. Well, I'm not gonna go there yet because. So I thought it was funny when the dad's getting ready to leave, and he's showing him the stereo and like being very particular.
I got a note about that too.
Listen, I do too. I have a note for sure. Yeah.
I thought that was just, I don't know, it's hilarious. Like the just, hey, don't touch this. This is, what you messed with the EQs,
Watching that scene, I was having like a Vietnam flashback to Jared. Yeah. And I'm like, this is Jared as a father. If he ever like has this crazy sound system and our kid one day is just like messing with it. No, this is what's wrong with this? Like, he's like, what's wrong with, what do you see here that you messed up with,
Oh, I would definitely do that. Yeah.
100%. I could just see it so clearly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My note for that was just, hold on, let me see. Joel's dad just appreciates proper EQ settings for the stereo. And I appreciated that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you hear a lot of bass right now, Joel?
The settings on this equalizer.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I was cracking up on that.
Yeah. That was really good.
And then so yeah, this is something with the camera work. Mm-hmm. It was interesting. No scenes, and then when he takes them to the airport, the parents, they used the POV camera, like they were talking to the camera, like Joel was. And it's the only time they do. They don't do it the rest of the movie, but they do that right during that. Like it's almost like so you can see the kind of the way they were just kind of constantly kind of feeding him with little things to be like
we trust you.
Sure well, the mom's like we know you won't do it.
We trust you.
Of course, the reality is he wasn't really. He was trying to be good.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
he was.
true.
It's like everyone else was just pushing it on him.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not his fault.
No.
Although his mom, like no matter what, she's always just like, "It's okay, honey." Like his mom is never,
except for that freaking crystal.
The crack.
That's the only time.
I'm so disappointed in you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
here's the real quick for the soundtrack. So we have Bob Seger, Muddy Waters, Jeff Beck, Prince, Journey, and Phil Collins all on the soundtrack. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Although I was trying to hear the Prince song, I couldn't figure out where it was. I didn't hear it in it.
Yeah, I don't remember, but those are some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most certainly. What did we do to deserve that many good artists in one film?
There's a lot of good soundtracks in the 80s of music-wise.
That's fair.
Both score and music, and songs for sure.
So, so after that, what do we? Is there any themes, messages coming through? What do you think the moral story is here? is the writer director trying to teach us something? Are we, what do you think the goals of this movie?
Maybe just don't start a brothel in your house over a weekend. I don't know.
Honestly,
what's the message?
I kept thinking, wow, the female anatomy is a powerful thing.
Well, yeah.
That was my kind of takeaway. I was like, man, this kid is really acting a fool for this woman.
So along those lines, so there's two times. Basically, the first time they hook up, right? Him and Lana.
Right.
Joel and Lana. Do you think it really happened? Because the way they filmed that, there was that weird, like all of a sudden the patio doors fly open. There's like wind coming in.
I think that really happened.
It's almost like it's almost like they added the elements to make it kind of dreamlike.
I thought of that also.
And so it was, I don't know if they were trying to play with that. Like, do you think, or was this just what he imagined and really nothing happened that night? I don't know.
So you're talking about similar to how like the opening of the movie where he's talking about the dream there as well.
Yeah,
so similar
it has
to that.
A similar feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It does.
When the first night that she's there and
it's like a dreamscape.
They kind of supposedly hook up.
But I think I kind of dismissed that theory, thinking it was a dream when she was there in the morning asking him for money. I was like, oh, okay, so then this did happen. They did hook up. Maybe not the first initial one where she's on like leaning over the window banister and stuff, but maybe the chair scene that came after that is what happened. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just one of those things. I was like, oh, is this happening or is this a dream? And then like,
I didn't think about that. Yeah, it's true. That could be.
I had that thought also. It did kind of come off as he fell asleep on the couch and this was him dreaming about it.
Because it would make more sense that at the end would be the first time.
Right, because he kind of acts that way. That's the other point. When they're on the train and they're kind of hook up on the train, he kind of acts like it's the first time. And because then he even asks her later, doesn't he? Like, how was I or something? He didn't he ask something like that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But then at the end when they're at dinner or whatever, and he's asking, was it all set up? Do you think she set up? Do you think she was it? Because she's
absolutely.
Yeah,
I think so. I think maybe she could have caught feelings after the fact, but I think her intentions going into it were calculated.
I would say that. Yeah, you're right. The initial idea of it was a setup
because
going into it,
honestly,
but then she might have actually ended up liking it. Yeah.
Right, because Jackie, the first one that showed up to the house,
yep.
He was like, "You'll like Lana. Boys like you love Lana."
Yeah.
I'm thinking Jackie was like, "Girl, this guy's house is loaded with stuff. You could really make some money. Looking out for each other, sort of situation."
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure she got a tip from Jackie and was like, "Oh, I can use this to my advantage."
Yeah.
So it was all set up to hook it, then to steal the egg, then to bring the other girls in and then make more money, so then the guy could steal all the furniture and try to get the cash back.
Yeah, I think her feelings for him became like she genuinely did want to be his girlfriend or whatever. But I
don't know though. Now you're saying all that. That seems like a very elaborate.
Scheme.
You'd have to have a lot of stuff go right.
She started moving in her friend though to the house. I guess she was trying to escape Guido.
But or was she? That's the question. Like, because if it's a full setup, then Guido had to be part of it from the get-go.
Also, why just the furniture? Like at the end, why is that what he does? Like,
because it's worth something, I guess.
I guess, but it's so weird that that's what Guido went for.
And then it's just all in a box truck, so you could.
Yeah, I guess.
Because there was that scene where she's looking through. While he's at school, she's looking through all the cabinetry and their silver and her clothes and everything and seeing maybe if there's something valuable here other than the crystal egg she took in the beginning. But then I'm kind of second guessing myself because Joel went after her after he realized that the crystal egg was stolen and had to go looking for her. And Jackie told him that she's at this restaurant sort of situation. I mean, he could have just not went looking for her, and that would have been the end of it for her. Yeah. So I guess it's just up to interpretation what you think her intentions were.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't think it's obvious. Like just like where that one scene, like it's like, was it a dream? Did they hook up?
Yeah, maybe that's intentional from the director. Like a lot of vagueness in this.
Yeah. The Porsche. Let's talk about the Porsche.
The rims are horrendous, but other than that,
the Porsche was sick. But yeah, you're right. The rims were terrible.
Yeah.
So the Guido car chase scene with the I mean, it's a kind of a goofy car chase scene.
The one thing I thought about was it looked like it was just the same set. It looked like they just kept going in circles. Did you notice that?
No, they were definitely going in circles.
Like it was supposed to be a long
set, but it was probably like an area
let's just keep turning
to close down this street or two, and then
I think that might have been intentional though, because after like the fourth or fifth loop around, he went the opposite way, and Guido's intentionally
so maybe they were actually going
right. I think they were going on circles on purpose because he hit that one where he was kind of out of his sight at this point, and he hooked right really fast, and Guido kept going around in that circle before he realized he was gone.
Because like in Star Wars, I think they did this especially in Mandalorian, where they're in a hallway and they're running, and then they go down another one, and they just keep shooting that one, and that's why I was wondering if they did it kind of that way in just a very small.
Or in Severance.
Oh, that was.
But all those halls look the same, so it doesn't really matter.
Dude.
Yeah, true.
Because I remember on this interview was, I guess it was
one of the best cues ever. One of the best music spots is when he's walking down the hall in the first episode. It's so good.
But yeah, I remember it's interview with I think a DP from, I can't remember who I was listening to, but they talked about they really didn't have that much hallway, but they just was very creative on how they shot everything, so it really felt like there was a lot more. And then so how much money does it take to fix a Porsche that went into the lake? Like, is that even feasible? Like, I feel like you just buy a new Porsche at that point.
I know, because obviously the upholstery,
everything.
A Porsche has leather seats. I mean, real leather seats. Water would completely destroy it.
I mean, yeah, and then all electronic. I mean, I feel like it'd just be really ruined.
And you'd have to gut it and rebuild it. Essentially, I would think.
Also, I noticed there's a lot of talk of just money in general in this movie that made me laugh. Because where were they at? Miles and Joel were at. When they're scoping out that area, it's like a hotel or something, trying to find Lon at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I can't believe this. He's like, I got to see what this $4 hot chocolate. I'm like, dude. And then they'd say something else later. What was it?
When he was with his friends, at that little restaurant, they're talking about
salaries.
The salaries. She makes $40K straight out of the. I'm like, okay, right now that's like.
But it's like, I mean, I understand it's 83, but like, it's just funny because there's a lot of different examples in it that I was just laughing because I'm like, man.
How about when he's selling the kid in the diner and he's like, so you took her on a date and how much that cost?
Too. Yep.
And then took her to a couple movies. You pay for parking.
That was awesome.
He's like, I park on the street.
And he's like, in the end, what happened? Nothing. And he's like, there you go. That was good. Yeah, that was awesome. Hey, where's your glasses?
That's a really good question. They're in my bag. I mean, I can see okay right now, but I can feel it fading.
No, your actual glasses that you need to be wearing right now.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Risky Business is known for the Ray-Ban Wayfarer, and I have one because I have every pair of glasses in the world. So, I should probably go get them.
No, I can get them. You guys keep talking.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It will. Any other parts you want to discuss? Specifics?
Specific parts. Okay. The term boffing. Never heard of it before this movie.
Me neither.
I was like, boffing? What is... Obviously, it means to have sex, but I was like, I've never heard that term be used in any other movie.
It must have been maybe I didn't look it up, but straggler from like 60s, 70s that kind of made it into an early 80s movie that was already on its way out. But some reason they used it in the movie. I don't know. Or it was like a slang that was only used for a real brief time. It's got to be something like that.
Yeah. So here are okay, so just a little nerd history. In 83, Ray-Ban was owned by Bausch & Lomb. So the Wayfarer sunglass is a lot different than the Luxottica. I mean, it's essentially the same bones, but you can tell his don't have like the Ray-Ban logo on the side or anything or on the lens here. But this is the frame that he wears in the movie. And speaking of this, the scene where he's talking to the college recruiter, and he's like, looks like it's University of Illinois. And he's just like, horrible.
And the cheesy, but he's got that Tom Cruise smile.
Oh, yeah.
That's like,
sure does.
Has not changed.
No.
That smile is, saw Mission Impossible, whatever, 7, whatever the most recent one was. And he's smiling like that, every time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they might add it in with CG nowadays. I don't know, but.
He just doesn't smile anymore.
No, he's done.
I gotta see how old he was in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Another scene that bothered me for all my Latin queens out there.
Oh, I gotta know this too.
When he's going through the newspaper looking for a girl to talk to or have over to his house, and he puts a fat X over Latin girls.
I didn't even.
If you're vanilla, just say that is what I'm saying. But whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Jackie told Lana.
Yeah, that's true.
She knew.
Yeah. Jackie could smell him from a mile away. She's like, yeah, I got just the girl for you, man.
Yeah, I put crossing out Latin girls in the newspaper, my brother in Christ. Why?
Different strokes for different folks, I guess.
Yeah. I mean.
Oh, he's 20 in this.
All right.
Wow. Yeah, it's a baby.
He looks even younger than that in this.
Well, that's why even though he's like 60 now, he doesn't.
That's
he
true.
looks like he's 45 or something.
Right. Yeah.
And plus a little bit of CG, I'm sure that cleans up the wrinkles.
The wrinkles.
Do they
the
actually
fine
do
lines.
that now in movies?
I don't know.
I feel like they did in Top Gun because in certain lights, you look at Tom Cruise and it
Like,
looks
they
maybe a
actually take
little.
like,
a
they
little-
de-age him a little bit?
They probably do. He probably has a
Little touched up.
or something. I don't know.
Right.
I would imagine.
That scene where they're getting ice cream and they're walking on the dock, okay? And Tom Cruise is walking and a light passes over his head, like he just barely misses it. Not a chance. He's tall enough for his head to almost hit a light post, is what I'm saying. He's 5'7".
You looked it up? He's 5'7"?
He's 5'7". I looked it up.
I mean, I know he's short, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not, I guess.
5'7" isn't like...
Short.
I'm 5'3".
Five,
I'm a
Is
shorty.
that short king level or not? Or is he past the
I'd say
threshold of
5'7" is a
king?
short king.
Okay.
I'd
But
say it's
that's
probably
the top.
it. Yeah, 5'7"
So 5'8"
is...
is the threshold.
5'8" is the threshold before you're
Okay.
like an average-sized king.
Okay.
And then you're a tall king. But,
Gotcha.
you know, that's in my opinion.
It is funny. I feel like, yeah, in all of his movies, like, they have to shoot him in a very specific way to make him look like,
Yeah.
right?
But I feel like this one, yeah, I mean, I know more recent stuff for sure. They like, but with this one though, he was so new, like so early to his career. I don't know that he would have the pull to like be like,
Well,
hey, I need to
Miles
do
was
this.
even shorter than him.
Right.
Because standing next
yeah.
to Miles was like probably an inch or two underneath where he's at.
Do we know how early in his career he did this? Like,
I mean,
what did he do before this? Do we?
Not much. I don't.
Okay.
I mean, there's a handful of movies, but
Yeah, I was wondering if this was very early, at
well, if
least
he was
because
20, he couldn't have done much. I mean, unless he was.
yeah, or maybe
Oh,
he did some TV stuff. But this might have been his first actual film.
I'm
Well,
looking
you're
it up.
looking at the movie, or are you looking at?
I'm trying to look at
actor?
the movie, but sometimes in the trivia it'll say whether the main character is his first film or not.
Oh, okay. So, any other scenes stick out to you that you?
Oh no, he's in Taps in
Oh, okay.
1981. So this was not his first.
That was well, yeah. We didn't say first. We said I think you only did a couple before.
Okay.
And that's
yeah,
it?
probably. Oh, I don't know.
Taps is 81, but that would have made him 18.
Yeah.
I'm sure he wasn't in much before this movie.
No. Yeah.
Because
Probably
he's
not.
still, like you said, a little rough
Yeah.
around the edges, acting wise.
So we didn't talk about the famous scene,
Yeah.
where he's like slides into the frame of the shot and dancing around.
In his tighty whities.
You know, it was way shorter than I expected. The moment, like it didn't last.
I
very
agree.
long. Like
Right.
for it being such a
Iconic scene. Yeah.
iconic scene, like it's And then was some reason kept picturing Back to the Future when he's like playing the guitar all down on the ground, and
Yeah.
and he's kind of doing the same thing. Of course, he didn't, what's his name? In
Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox, yeah, wasn't in his tighty whities, but
No.
Yeah.
His Calvin Kleins.
Yeah. Were they
Remember?
Calvin Kleins?
Yeah, because his mom calls him Calvin when he goes to the past.
oh right,
Remember?
but Back to the Future. I thought you meant.
Sorry, yeah, in Back to
I
the
thought we
Future.
were still in Risky
Sorry,
Business.
No, in
Yeah.
Back to the
I was like, I
Future.
didn't notice the type of underwear he's
No,
wearing.
no. I was not, no.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because, I mean, even people dress up like him for Halloween still
Yeah.
from that movie. So the scene wasn't as impressionable for me as I thought it was going to be. But
And not even like it wasn't even that pivotal to the movie or the story. Like
right.
it was just this random, like the first thing he does is once he's home alone is, but yeah.
Also, like almost the very beginning of the movie, I'm like, I was like, this is the scene already? I didn't think it would be like right at the beginning too.
Yeah. So I guess, was it Harvard that he got into?
No, it was
not Harvard. Yeah, it wasn't Harvard.
Was it Princeton?
Princeton, yep.
Princeton.
Yeah.
So they like their brothel business managers, I guess. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anything that's going to make you profit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not the first.
How much did he say that night made him total?
10 grand? It was around
10,000, I think. Did he say 8,000?
Maybe 8,000.
I think it was $8,000 he made that night.
Let's see what that would be nowadays.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, because he says at the very end, and I was thinking, what would that be now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was 8,000 because I just doubled it, but then maybe even 20, I'd say.
Yeah, maybe 20 grand now.
Oh wow.
So it's about $24,000.
Wow.
Nowadays.
In one night.
An entrepreneur.
Hey, I mean that's
It's impressive.
Good for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I get why Princeton would want him. I see you guys. I see what you're about.
Yeah, he's an innovator.
Yeah,
he is
breaking new ground with
it is what it is.
Tactics.
Yeah,
it was cracking me up. His other friend, I forget his name, doing all the accounting.
I think was it Barry? Was that his name?
Yeah. It was funny. He was just in the side
room
doing.
He was in the back, like running, crunching the numbers.
They all ran together. The other friend, like they were all like,
yeah, they did.
They all
for
looked
sure,
like almost like
because Miles like nailed it. Miles was he's the one that stood out for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Barry's played by Bronson Pincott. Maybe is that how you say his name? Relax the face. His eyes are like this, and his.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I just have one more thing. It's also at the beginning, actually, kind of with all of them. All of his friends with him when they're all sitting around the poker table.
Oh, I think I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, I put the way they're smoking the cigars is just straight up wrong. Like dude, when he takes it out, the whole thing is just
bitten,
crushed down. Like and then some of the other ones too are it's horrible.
Do you think they did that on purpose to kind of
maybe
make it look like they were amateurs?
They don't know what they're doing.
They're a bunch of kids.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then later they're smoking cigarettes. So like I guess they just
but you don't chew like you don't hold like the cigars. They really
they're
talking like men with the cigars in their mouths. You know, I don't know. He's even because you even see the one guy lean over and go to spit out the pieces.
It was gross though when he took it out. It was
yeah, that was foul.
Yeah, they were probably doing that as like on purpose.
I feel like they have to because it was because
I'm sure someone
very
otherwise could have been like, hey, here's how you do it, right?
Yeah,
and then,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Especially at that time, yeah.
It was very frustrating for me how Lana was incapable of reading the room. I mean, like anytime a situation was happening,
for sure.
Like for instance, the recruiter being there, she comes in, we need this room. He's like, okay, I'm having a meeting. And then like minutes pass and she's rolling a bed into the thing. I'm like, honey, chill.
Or when he's on the phone with his mom and dad and she's like,
inappropriate.
Yeah.
No regard for anyone.
Nope.
And that was frustrating.
So it was all of a plan. She didn't care about him at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just think she doesn't have any she's from the streets, you know what I mean?
Wait, how would you rate her style? Did you like any of her?
No, not at all.
I didn't think so, yeah.
I didn't like anything.
Yeah.
That she had on.
Except for at the end, no, that was her friend though. When they're taking stuff out of the U-Haul or whatever he had to get the furniture back. Mm-hmm. Was that her friend that was inside there?
Yeah.
Those pants were sick.
It wasn't her. Yeah, her pants were tight. Yeah.
That wasn't her though. He had to do the epic catch of the...
Oh, still cracked. Still got a crack in it.
Is that what you're talking about? Like the very bad slow-mo? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is it just was it just the limitation back then to do slow-mo?
I don't really know, honestly, because I thought you could overcrank film.
Yeah, it was all film. So couldn't you?
So I don't know. Because I feel like there was other stuff at that time period that
looked better.
Okay, but so I'm not sure what they were doing there.
Also, when she throws it from the truck. Not a chance it went that far. Tom Cruise is running so fast, jumping over the furniture, diving for it, and I'm like, she did not toss it that far.
Is this the start of the Tom Cruise run?
So I was got to ask this because
were you okay?
He was well. I actually had that in a note, and I skipped over it earlier.
I didn't even think about it tonight.
He when he was running to the school, because remember he was late.
And
he actually had him running. Mm-hmm. So I did look it up, and it's not the first movie he ran in, because the other one you mentioned,
Taps, he runs
is the first movie he ran in.
Wow.
So he's been doing it his whole career.
Wow.
Still got it after all these years. He still got it.
Well, he ran in Mission Impossible 7, and he ran in Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit, even though he spent most of the time.
Very little jiggle on his body too. Good for him. He's keeping it tight at his age.
Yeah. Where was that beach scene in Top Gun? Didn't he have his shirt off?
Claudia was looking at a different person in that scene.
Well, yes, I was.
There was younger men in this scene too. But I was just saying, I think
for his age, he looks incredible. Yeah.
It's all that Scientology, keeping him young.
Cut it out.
We don't want them to come after us.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
We don't know
Tom
what
Cruise,
that organization. We respect Scientology.
Yeah. You're keeping movies alive, Tom Cruise.
Any other thoughts? I mean, I think that's
it.
I just have one more thing to say, really. It's so pitiful how easy it is for women to manipulate men, especially young men who obviously...
their age especially. Yeah.
I mean, they're obviously, their brains are in one area for a very long time. Yeah. I mean, these girls barely even had to try. And they had all these boys like this wrapped around their pinky.
Selling their bonds to get
bonds.
I got bonds. Just wait here. I'm going to be right back, Let me just go get some money for you really quick. Yeah. Crazy. Ridiculous. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
So what we didn't decide is what are we watching next? We need to Yeah. What are we doing so that people can prepare?
Do we want to start? I have the list of directors. Do we want to start with one of them, or?
Let's go. I mean, I think I can cut some of this out, but I think it's enough to test. I think to see if there's anything we want to tweak and me feel like I'm a little more comfortable about it. So I keep clearing my throat.
It's all right.
You're a young bar.
I do it a lot too.
Young bar men in our family, constantly.
So we could. Yeah, I say we go for it. And let's do some.
Well, you want me to?
So what do we got? Yeah, what do you have?
All right.
Oh man.
Christopher Nolan, Coen Brothers, David Fincher, Denis Villeneuve, Francis Ford Coppola, James Cameron, M. Night Shyamalan, Martin Scorsese, Michael Mann, Paul Thomas Anderson, Quentin Tarantino, Ridley Scott, Stanley Kubrick, Steven Spielberg, William Friedkin. There's a lot. Those are like the top, I would say. I mean, unless there's any other directors you want. Those are all the ones I thought of.
There's probably someone else, but like off the top of my head right now,
I think Denny is the one we thought about initially because he doesn't even have that many movies.
Right, and then we were talking about because Dune Part 2.
Right. Yeah.
But didn't it get pushed to? I think it got pushed.
I don't think it has officially, but it might.
That's what
that's what
the rumors because of the.
Oh, that would suck.
Get pushed to early next year.
Man.
We could. Yeah. I mean, I'm down with doing.
I keep trying to look up his name. I think it's Denis Villeneuve, but
Villeneuve.
It's very French. I don't know exactly how to say it, but.
Oh, you didn't have it. Did you have any trivia?
There is some trivia.
Yeah, you want to look through that?
I usually, in our other podcast, I like to go over trivia that IMDb has.
Yeah. So, I think it's cool. We might as well do it.
Let's get into it. Yeah. The first one says, in an effort for Tom Cruise, who was 20 during the filming, to look more teenage in appearance, the producers put him through an unusual bit of physical training. Cruise worked out 7 days a week in order to lose 10 pounds. Once that had been accomplished, he immediately ceased working out and ate extremely fatty foods in order to add a layer of baby fat. This is how he achieved that fresh-faced teenage look.
Wow.
That's
all it takes, huh?
I guess so.
Jeez, that's a...
So work out a bunch and then just eat like crazy.
So don't
work out at all.
Lose some weight, get down to and then throw some fat on you.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. To get a baby face, if you are wanting a baby face for some reason. The dance scene where Joel dances to old time rock and roll was completely improvised. In the script, Tom Cruise was simply instructed to dance to rock music.
Okay. Was the being in your underwear improvised?
I know. Did he say, I want to do this?
You know what? I would really like to do this, but I need to take my pants off first.
I mean, the doctor would like to see you with your pants off.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a me trivia. The sunglasses Joel wears are the Ray-Ban Wayfarer model. Annual sales of Wayfarers were languishing as of 1983, but skyrocketed 2,000% after the movie's release.
Sheesh.
This film and The Blues Brothers in 1980 have contributed to the popularity of the Wayfarers since. I mean, Ray-Bans can be found anywhere. They're arguably one of the most popular eyewear brands. You see them everywhere.
Did they ever actually go out of style? Since I didn't think so. Yeah,
not at all. Especially once Luxottica took over.
Yeah.
A lot of people will argue that Bausch and Lomb had the quality better than Luxottica did, and that's fair. But they still kept all like the cult classic styles of Ray-Ban, and I mean, you can't go anywhere without seeing somebody wearing a Ray-Ban on their face. So
true,
they're doing really well. Let's see here. According to Tom Cruise, Paul Brickman was initially unsure of casting him. Originally, Paul had seen Taps in 1981 and said, "This guy for Joel? This guy is a killer. Let him do Amityville 3. Somehow, my agent, without me knowing, arranged to have me just drop by the office to say hello. So I went in wearing a jean jacket. My tooth was chipped. My hair was greasy. I was pumped up and talking in an Oklahoma accent. Hey, how y'all doing?" Paul just sat there looking at me. Cruise returned to Tulsa to finish filming The Outsiders, 1983, but flew back to LA and auditioned again. I walk in and see this stunningly gorgeous woman sitting there looking at me, and I'm thinking, oh my God. Cruise said. Rebecca De Mornay had already been cast. They wanted to see the two of us together. I tested, and to make a long story short, to make a short story long, we didn't test that well. Paul just believed in me. Huh.
I looked up her also, and she's in Wedding Crashers. So Miles, the actor that plays Miles, was in Dodgeball. But what's her name? Rebecca
De Mornay?
Yeah. She's in Wedding Crashers. But in like a small role. But because I was seeing, I'm like, I don't really recognize her. And I looked up, she's not in a lot of other stuff that at least I know of. But
well, she's in a Disney show.
Oh, really?
Current that she plays a mom that we watch with Kirsten.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You don't watch it in your own leisure?
No. Robbie and I watch it with Kirsten. Because it's like I forget what it's called, but it's it's like a remake of the kid doctor that what's his name? Like, this is terrible.
Doogie Howser?
Yeah, Doogie Howser.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like a remake of that but it's a girl, and she's half Hawaiian, and they're on some Hawaiian island. I can't remember which one island they're on. And then her mom's a doctor at the hospital, and she's also a doctor there. And then
wow.
So, but she plays the mom.
She plays the mom. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Still working. That's cool.
Yeah.
Rebecca De Mornay lied about her age so she would seem the same age as Tom Cruise. She was born in 1959, but claimed to be born in 1962.
Wow.
Sometimes you have to fake it till you make it, folks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's only 3 years difference?
Yeah, that's not a huge deal. Yeah, I know. I was thinking it was going to be way.
It's still lying about your age, but
yeah, I don't know. I guess they cared about that a lot more in this time, maybe.
Yeah.
Joel's house is located at 1258 Linden Avenue in Highland Park, Illinois. In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Cameron's house is located at 370 Beach Street, Highland Park, Illinois. In real life, they are located just around the corner from each other.
I feel like there's got to be I knew there'd be a connection somehow.
It's the Buellerverse.
It's the Buellerverse, yeah. There's just too many similarities. I did not even think about that. The house, even like the outside of the house, looks very similar to Ferris's house. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
All right, one more. 4 1978 Porsche 928 models were used in the movie and a 1981 model, in parentheses, including one that was gutted for the lake scene and another that was painted gold. A collector tried to track down all of the Porsches but only found one of them, which he bought for $49,200 at a 2012 Hollywood memorabilia auction.
Well, the one thing, when the Porsche was sitting on the dock before it fell in, and he's like on the hood, that hood definitely didn't look as nice. I don't know if I was noticing it was not as nice as.
That's probably why they let him walk all over it.
And it was probably the one that was okay to dump in the water, and it wasn't the nicer ones. But anyway, it was something I was like, that hood doesn't look the same.
Looks dingy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Well, I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I'm good.
That was good.
So next week we will be covering Enemy by Denis Villeneuve.
Yes.
Nice. All right.
Nailed it.
So if you'd like to subscribe, please subscribe. And you can check us out on Instagram at Screentime Pod or YouTube at Screentime Pod. If you're watching, obviously you're already there. Mm-hmm. And if you have any feedback, you can email us at feedback@screentimepod.com. Until next time.